This is my RX7. I bought it for $18,000 and have spent much more completely rebuilding the engine and pretty much everything else under the hood. Throughout the rebuild, I've run into issues after issues, repairing every fault I've come across in the past 7 months. In the last video, I fixed my leaking turbo, repaired a completely seized rear wheel hub, installed a new exhaust, and tuned the car so I could finally take it on its first drive. However, I still can't drive this car because of some more unseen issues that I need to fix. Will this car ever be ready for the road? Let's find out.
So this car it's amazing, but it has a few issues, and today I want to get it ready to actually start daily driving it. There are a few weird things that are going on with this car that I want to start figuring out. There's a weird vibration going on down in this tire. The car does need to be ready to be wrapped, but that's not like the big thing that I'm going for here. I do need to kind of prep all this and primer it just like how this was primered. But obviously I can drive with it without that. That's just one of the things I gotta do. So this is what my checklist looked like before. And obviously I got the car running even with not getting all of these things done. So I have to now make a brand new list in order for me to actually drive this thing on the road. I'm also gonna make a list that says other, that are all of the other things that I need to drive, but I don't need to be able to drive it. Like insurance, registration, my blinkers, my headlights.
So by going through the car, I've been able to write down the tasks that absolutely needed to be done, so I can finally daily drive this RX7.
So it may just always look like that I just get up and start, but I always clean the shop first. Well, that was cool. Now the place is clean, I want to clean the car a little bit. So this is pretty dirty, and I kind of want to put it back together. I mean, it's even falling apart in some areas. I think we were doing that to run wires, but let's clean that up. Well, that looks nice. Okay, for the driver's side. And I know this stuff that I'm doing isn't really that important, but it is important when you're driving here and you don't want to get your feet wrapped up in the wires. And there are some things that are loose that need to be tightened up, and I don't want to kick the fuel pump because then my car will stop working while I'm driving on the road. So this entire area needs to go back together, and there's a few small things that I need to do. Like if you see this special little plug here that we got off of a specific rotary website, apparently this makes your entire car run. So if you don't have this, you're kind of screwed, or it won't run. I don't know exactly what it is, I'm not gonna lie. Could be for the starter, but I do know that I need to put this in because the other one looks like this. So it's just wrapped up in this stuff, and then I believe this is like a crappier way to get it done, but this is the correct way to get it done. So we're gonna swap those out. All right, so that's the before and after. Definitely a lot better. So yeah, all of this stuff is fairly loose. I'm gonna zip tie this and start putting the interior back together. So now that I got the interior all fully put together, at least on this side, I realized I have this piece missing here, which I'll probably get a replacement, but my feet are fairly cleared and that piece is missing too. Let's just not worry about that. But there are some other things that I'm seeing when I look around. I see that pieces like this are moving around or falling off, so that's why I have this case here. This case has a lot of assorted pieces that I can use and replace a lot of these pieces that I don't know where they're at. So I can just grab a piece, put it on here. It's in. All right, and now that piece is in. So I need to find pieces that are like that pretty much all over the car and just put it back together, really. And then we'll start in the engine bay. But before we get to the engine bay, I'm going to move over to that side. So while I'm working on cleaning all this up and you thinking that this is the last step for the interior, it's not. There are a couple more upgrades that I'm gonna be doing on the inside, including the Corbo seats that have been sitting up there for, I believe, at least almost a year now, which has been crazy because this has been the first car I ever completely built by myself from complete scratch. I am gonna have to clean all this up, and that is a lot. For me to get into this, I'm really just going to put some tunes in and then just get to work. And I'll keep you updated as it goes on, but seriously, really as it gets to this, really, other than that, I just have to put this piece on here. And in order to put this on, I need to be able to fully install the ECU, which is fully over here. Keep in mind, I do need to be able to connect to the ECU while I'm driving and see the computer, because that is the only way that I'm able to see my RPMs, my everything, my literally, will have no idea about anything at all. So yeah, good luck to me. So what's over here is the ECU, basically the engine computer. And I need to make sure that I protect the wires that are going into this ECU. Even one of these wires get pinched and it doesn't work, I won't know if it's the sensor or the wire somewhere that's being ran from the motor all the way to this area, and it will create a whole bunch of issues. So this needs to be protected more than anything else, because this is literally driving the entire car. That was a hell of a lot of work to get that done. I have a little hole here to access the ECU. So if I need to get this, the only way for me to find out anything that's going on with the car is to stick it as far as I can in this little hole. Hey, yo! I did like that on purpose because I would rather me be able to plug it and unplug it when I want to. And then I was trying to do the shape of something else. I could have just put it over this way and then just shoved the rest of it in here. You live and you learn. I'm done here. I'm gonna clean up all this, and then we're gonna move on to the next thing. Looking good, looking good. I just need to figure out the rear. I'll do that right now. But I can't start on the rear without cleaning up. Well, it's somewhat better. So when I was driving, I was feeling a big vibration. I think it could be the tires. It just feels like it's moving a lot. Yeah. But I'm going to take the tires off anyways, the wheels, and I'm gonna check to make sure I still have the suspension on, or nothing's loose, I guess. It literally sounds like something weird over here. Just listen. I don't want to put those wheels back on because I just feel like they're making it worse. All right, for the meantime, before the Fitment Industry wheels come here, my sorta temp Fitment Industry wheels, I am going to be putting these on. What I mean by Fitment Industry temps is like they're like temporaries for something else I'm gonna do that's crazy, because I'm working with Fitment Industry and I honestly want to thank them so much for that, because it just makes these things just way more possible. When you get to work with your favorite companies, that's kind of cool. Well, I threw away all the lugs that were on this because I don't like these wheels. So I can't put them on and they're for sale. Back to square one. All right, I'm just gonna take this side off and check it, and then just switch the tires and see if the vibration follows. My oil catch can is basically this thing here, and I don't know where I want to put it because this engine bay is kind of full for like a 1.3 liter engine. Kind of crazy. It's just kind of wide. But this is kind of seems to be the best spot, but that's kind of how I check my oil, and I don't want to give that space up because I don't think it's worth it. For right now, I'm probably just going to do a Red Bull can for this, which I know exactly where one's at. That was convenient. I think I understand why people always do this, is because it's just always the last step. Sometimes it just really ain't that important sometimes. All right, there you go. Catch can, done. Yay! All the air isn't necessarily going into here, it's just going down through here and around. And so I need to make sure that it's going actually through this. Maybe I should get this out of the way too, because probably those aren't even being used. Clean the truck, that's good. Yeah, my dash doesn't work. But other than that, I think she's ready to go on a drive. I think after my first drive, I will do the oil leak and the oil change. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. Oh. Exciting day. We get to take her out finally. What I was gonna do was give it an inspection, but the inspection station is closed now. So that's the perks of waiting all day. Sick. That vibration's still there. I don't know what that is, but it's gnarly. Whatever it is, it's like vibrating really, really hard. The alignment is like super off too, so that doesn't help. It feels really clunky to shift, like it doesn't shift smoothly. It's so violent, it's hard to drive the car. Like I feel like that could be it. I'm just gonna try driving it a little bit more and see if I can get over it. Because I don't think I'm gonna die, but I just don't know. All right, well, I'm just gonna drive to the closest gas station and try to figure out what that is. It's so violent. I can only drive this thing like on the back roads, 40 miles an hour, tops. Let's see what's going on. Any leaks? No leaks, lots of smells. Okay, let's see what we can see from just looking at the car. So I'm curious, that looks like even wear. I'm not sure if running super hard on the inside is gonna make it bump like that. That looks fine. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is like, what's gonna make it vibrate so hard like that? Like, how can I figure that out? Because as of right now, I'm so lost in what or why it would do that.
After doing some research, I realized there's a few things that could be making the car vibrate, like the wheels.
I got every single wheel that I have changed and balanced.
I still wanted to make sure that I was getting rid of every potential reason, so I decided to add this strap to hold my diffuser and stop it from potentially vibrating. Even though I didn't think this could fix the issue, I still didn't want it to fly off my car, so I added this extra support.
All right, let's take it on for a test drive. Like right there. It's still there. I have no idea what's making it wobble like that. I don't know, maybe it's the wheels, but if it's the wheels, why is it not happening in the front? I have to just figure out what is it that's making it happen. Maybe the wheels bent, maybe something else happened. It feels like it's coming from over here. This is the area that I worked on. The axle's in tight. I don't know if that would do anything if the axle's in. I don't know, it's in really tight. Maybe that could be it. I'm not sure. I have to call people and just try to figure out what's going on because I am lost at this one. I'm gonna take these wheels off for the 6th time and try to switch it out with these because I know those ones don't wobble like crazy. I'm gonna try to do that because I don't want to film the whole process. Look at it. Ready? All right, done. Cool, let's go.
With the constant issues I've been facing when fixing this car, I'm starting to get frustrated. I've put so much time, money, and effort into this project. I just want this car to work.
What the f? My phone just fell off the back of my car? When did I put it back there? Yeah, it flew off the car, bro. Well, I'm going faster with the smaller wheels, but the vibration's still there. When I let off throttle, wow, the vibration gets heavy. That's crazy. FML, bro. After going inside, eating, chilling for a little bit at the gas station, I sat there and thought about it, watched some YouTube videos of just people explaining vibrations and where it could be coming from, and what I think it could be coming from, or is coming from, is this. When I did the rear suspension and everything here, I had to take everything apart. And when I took everything apart, I had to get the axle off, and it was so hard to do everything here in this area that the axle was stuck in here, and I didn't know how to take this off, and I think I pulled too hard on the axle and I broke it. And so if you look at this, it doesn't move at all. Like the axle, there's no play in it, and there should be play in it. Like it should be playable, right? And you can see how this thing is like pulling apart on each other. Like it's not in. Like it should have a little bit of back and forth play like this. I need to replace that axle. I'm just gonna take the whole rear end apart again and replace the axle. All right, so in this moment, you know, kind of sucks. I'm looking at my car and I feel like I can't drive it now, but I can cruise in it. So we're gonna go on a little cruise, commemorate all the hard work that I've done, and just enjoy the car at under 60 miles an hour. But don't worry, it's still gonna be a thrilling ride because I still have thread showing.
Bitch, I'm piped up. I got pipes on me like what it do. I'm so fucked up. Well, I thought that you already knew. Little bitch, I'm piped up. I got pipes on me like what it do. I'm so fucked up. Well, I thought that you already knew. Little bitch, I'm piped up.
With working on this car for nearly a year, it can be really easy to lose focus on what my overall goal is with this RX7. I have to keep remembering that every time a fault shows itself, it's an opportunity to fix it and make this car even better than it would have been. It may be taking longer than I'd hoped, but I'm still stoked to see how this car will turn out.
That's why you mad at me. Every time you Reggie drop this shit a masterpiece. I be like, damn, what got into me?